Hey guys, thanks for watching another video. This time around we are going to strip all the paint off this valve cover and repaint it. I used it to paint the head so it has the silver on it. The previous owner painted it red. Looks like he did an okay job at it, made the letters black. I'm sure it looked good when he did it initially, however this has seen some better days now and inside's very dirty. Looks like this engine was not serviced regularly. Anyway, we've learned from the fiasco with the intake manifold, and this is basically the stuff to use. I used brake fluid on the intake manifold and well, it worked. It removed the black paint, which was a thicker coat. However, it did not remove the gold paint, which was a very thin coat. So we're not testing products this time. We're just going to use this paint remover first time round. I do have still like half a bottle left here, and I did use some of this on the engine bay as well of the car. So this stuff kind of goes a long way, I would say. It's 500 mils, it's not that expensive. I would definitely recommend using this. Now this is dirty, dusty, I'm not going to worry about that. I don't think this paint remover is bothered by dust. Basically just going to throw it on here and then brush it on. Another thing we've learned is do not leave it on. Do not leave this on a aluminium product, because it will actually dry and have like a chemical reaction with the aluminium, and it will kind of make like a corrosion that sits on top of the aluminium. So I learned that lesson, so we will not be leaving it on here. I would say put it on, wait for it to do its job, clean it off with water and soap, or just water, and then just reapply it if needed. Do not let the product actually dry on the aluminium. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes, and you can see some areas the paint is just coming off almost immediately. Oh, look at that. Nice. Other areas looks like it's going to be a bit more stubborn, but I'm just going to rub it a bit and see what comes off and what doesn't. I'm sure if I cleaned this oil and dust off it, it might have been slightly more effective. It looks like the areas where there was a bit of oil is a bit more resistant to the paint stripper. I don't think the dust really matters, but it does look like oil is fighting the paint stripper a bit. We are about 20 minutes in now, and it's starting to look like it's going to come off fairly easily. Some areas a bit more difficult than others. All these little nooks and crannies looks like it's holding on to the paint a bit more stubborn than the flat surfaces. Not sure if it's just because I haven't scrubbed it. I'm going to use this stiff bristle brush just to rub it and see. Oh yes. Surprisingly satisfying. See if this back part comes off as easy. And it does. This actually had a lot less of the paint remover than like this surface here. Okay, I must say it looks like it's not going to put up much of a fight. The paint is now literally just flying off. And this is just I'm sure everyone knows these cheap brushes. This is just like a stiff bristle brush. It's basically every spare shop sells these. Okay, this is after the first coat. I took it and just washed it, make sure everything comes off. So this is what basically stayed behind. All these tight areas here, the front. It looks like it took off the silver paint and then basically left the red paint. There's also some like rubber sealant on the edges down here. But I mean, as expected, there's in all the tight areas there's still some left. So we're gonna just repeat the process on these areas and then rinse it again. Okay guys, so here's the valve cover, mostly cleaned up. Still a few spots here and there. I'll hit that with some paint remover, just these edges. I think there was some gasket maker on these areas, that's why that paint is still on there. But I mean, overall it's starting to look really good. These cast marks are really rough, so I'm actually going to just take a file and file all these, basically the whole front of this valve cover, just file off all these rough cast marks. The back also has some not as bad. Anyway, other than that, it's looking really nice. So the valve cover is all nice and cleaned up. Definitely the cleanest one I've ever had or seen. I took a file and then just cleaned up all these edges. It has all those rough casting edges around the front. So I just cleaned all of that up on the sides, around the back. Didn't clean them up all the way at the back, but you can see the front basically also looked like that. Other than that, I mean, look how clean the inside of this thing is. Yeah, here you can see nice. I cleaned up all these corners, all the rough cast marks. There's still a few here. Some of them are too deep to take out. So what I'm going to do now is just tape everything off and then we start spray painting. Okay, so we have everything taped off, spark plug holes. I'm using coins to block off the bolts that hold the valve cover down, taped up the filler hole. I put a little bit of tape in all the little threads just so you don't paint in there and then the bolts get stuck. I also taped off a section of the breather. But yeah, other than that, we're all ready to go. So I lifted the valve cover up just so I can get to the edges here. Okay, so we're all done with the painting part. I gave it about 4 layers of white and 2 layers of clear. I did use a heat gun in between just to make sure the layers are dry enough. With about an hour between painting color and clear and about let's say 20 minutes between the 2 coats of clear. Overall, I think it came out very, very well. It does have a, I can say a slightly rough texture, but that texture is from the valve cover itself. I am going to just polish the surface with like a, let's say, medium cut polish, just all the flat surfaces to make sure the paint is as smooth as it can be. But yeah, other than that, we're going to take off all the tape soon, then we're going to sand this off so it goes back to like a brushed aluminium look.